Today on 11 Gallery ATV, we are going to finish up the front end of this YFZ450 build. Woo! Yes, peoples, this is exciting. We're going to get the front end going here. We're going to get the wheel hubs installed. We're going to get the front shocks broke down, disassembled, cleaned up, put back together again, and then installed onto the machine here. Woo! We are going to be breaking down the calipers, disassembling, popping out the pistons, putting in brand new seals, and then we are going to get those installed into the machine down here. We're going to get the brake lines hooked up, fed through the frame down here, fed through the arms, located where they belong, torqued down. We're going to get the handlebars secured to the steering stem with the new risers down here, and hooking up the controls here and the controls here with the grips, and we'll get everything set up. We're going to get all these remaining components buttoned down, torqued up, and you want to make sure that you stay tuned because I'm going to be showing you all the torque specs for everything and how it fits into place. So yeah, if you're already subscribed, man, I appreciate each and every one of you for showing me the support to keep the channel moving along. And if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button down there and make sure to hit the all notification bell down there to get notified whenever 11 Gallery ATV puts out the new videos. You will be notified and you'll be able to keep up on this YFZ450 build. Without further ado, let's move on and get this front end buttoned up. Woo! All right, folks, now that we got these spindles, knuckles, whatever you want to call them, installed, let's go ahead and get the rotor guard, brake disc guard, whatever you want to call that, installed on there, and then we'll put the wheel hubs on. Yeah, we're moving right along. Woo! This is exciting. All right. So what we're going to do, obviously we're going to take these out. And we're going to hit them with some blue Loctite. And then this guy, you just want to make sure this little curve right here goes on the bottom. And it faces kind of like a no. Yes. So what it does is this one goes up over the, you want to see these holes is what you want to do. This is for the brake caliper right here. So this one has this little cutout and it goes around this bottom one. And it takes a little finagling a couple times to get it right, but there you go. And then we just put these dogs right on in there. And there really isn't a torque spec for these, and I'm sure it's listed in the general torque spec somewhere. You can find a torque spec for these, and I'm sure it's like 4 foot-pounds or 4.5 or 4.9 or whatever. But, you know, for something that small, we got some blue Loctite on there. All you want to do is snug them up. Just don't over-tighten it. Just get them nice and, that's good. And there you go. That's all there is to that. And there's going to be some play in it. They don't get super all the way tight. They have a little bit of play. I'm not really sure why, but that's the way they were when they came off, and that's the way they are when they're going on. All right. So now, let's get this wheel hub on there. Obviously, we're just going to spin this guy off. Got a big washer in the back and a little washer in the front. Obviously, we got a thick part here and a thinner part here. There you go, match them up. Done. All right, so what we're going to do is switch sides. Boom! Now I'm over here. Woo! And we're going to use some of the Maxima waterproof grease. We use it for everything. You just want to grease up the spindle a bit here. You kind of want to be a little careful with this. You don't want to get this on the threads here. And you don't want to overly a huge amount because otherwise it'll just bind up in there and it'll ruin the torque spec and all that stuff. So just want a little light coat on here to keep it from seizing up inside of there.
Try not to get any back here on the back too, because there's a washer. See, we got some on there. We're gonna clean that off. Good enough. Now we got a washer. You want to put the flat side towards the knuckle, if there is a flat side. This one happens to have a little bit of a flat side on there. Try not to squeeze too much of the grease through. There we go. And then we just take our, oh yeah, mine's already assembled, of course, but you'll want to put your brake rotor on and replace your seals, bearings in there, collars, in case everything is all messed up. But we bought these off of a 2020 machine. Very, very low hours, as you can tell. They're like brand spanking new. So look, they still got the factory marks on them. So we're not even gonna bother taking them off and doing anything to them. We're just gonna plug these babies in. But these bolts right here get torqued to 20 foot-pounds. And yeah, you wanna mark them so that you can make sure that they don't move and stuff like that. But we should be good to go here. So here we go. Woo, there you go. That's all there is to that. And then of course this has a flat side on it as well. Flat side goes in here. And we want to get the threads cleaned up. We don't want any grease on there. And then the castle, whoops, forgot one thing. You know what time it is? We're gonna use the blue Loctite on here. And then the castle nut, obviously the castle goes out. And this baby gets torqued to 50 foot-pounds. But I don't know if we're gonna be able to get it torqued right now, because the leverage we're working with here is not the greatest. I couldn't get the other side torqued, but we're probably gonna have to put the wheels on in order to get this castle nut torqued up here. But it gets torqued to 50 foot-pounds, which is quite a lot of pressure to put on this, see? Oh yeah, see, we're already popping off over there. Whoa, yeah. And we're balanced on beers. So this isn't the ideal situation. We'll get this baby torqued up, but not at this particular stage in the game. So let's get it back balanced back up again, and we'll get the wheels on it and get it torqued up. All right, folks, now that we got the wheel on, we should be able to get this wheel hub torqued up now that we have a little better setup. So let's get it torqued down. And this castle nut gets torqued to 50 foot-pounds. So let's get her done. 50! Woo! All right, now we need to get a cotter pin through one of the holes. And this one up here at the top is too far covered, so we can't move the nut far enough. We want to keep the torque on there. And we'll just give it a little bit more, basically. So we want that to go through there. And we need to move this nut just a little bit farther. So we're going to set our torque wrench up to a little higher torque. And then we're just going to inch it ever so slightly. And just tighten her down just a little farther so we can get that hole exposed and get that cotter pin in there. So we're going to go up here to like 70. We're obviously not going to torque it that high, but we need to move it. There, it moved a little bit, but we need a little more. There we go. Let's see if we can get that cotter pin in there now. Boom! Look at that. Woo! All right, so then we just take this baby. And what I like to do is pull it tight and then flip it out this way. And then step on over here and keep your finger on here. Don't hit your finger though. And there you go. And that's that. We're cotter pinned up, we're torqued up. The wheel's ready to rock and roll. So yeah, let's get these shocks installed and the brakes, and we'll see how far we get. Maybe the handlebars, we'll see how far we get. But yeah, let's go. Woo! All right, folks, now we can get our shocks in there. We got the left side or the right side in there already. So let's get the left side in. And yeah, this is a pretty simple procedure. They are just gonna be held down with 2 bolts. We're just gonna plunk this down through here. You can see they're pretty clean. Like I said, this machine, really low hours on it. Everything was just dirty. So we took this apart, cleaned it up, and yeah. So let's show you what we did to the shocks real fast before we put them in. So, all right, folks, check it out. The shocks in this YFZ450 are not too bad. This machine had pretty low hours on it, and we're not going to be rebuilding any of the shocks on this machine this time. All we're gonna do is pull them apart, clean them up real good, shine up all the aluminum, and clean up the springs a bit. And yeah, so let's get these babies taken apart. All right, folks, so the first step we're gonna do is we're gonna put this baby into the vise, and I got the soft jaws on here so that we don't damage any of the aluminum or any crazy stuff like that. So we're just going to put it in here kind of like so, if we can get it to stay like this. Look at that. All right, now we take our little spanner wrench here, and we're gonna pop these guys. I said we're gonna pop these guys. All right, and you might have to get a little forceful with it for the very first crackola. And I guess you want to make sure you're driving in the right direction. So let's make sure that I'm not tightening it, because I don't want to tighten it, I want to loosen it.
One eternity later.
All right, take our spanner wrench, put that baby right up on here, like so, and give her a little crank with the hammer. All right, now we need to zing these guys off, and we're gonna do that the other direction. And it's always best to spray these down right here on the threads a little bit with the WD-40. That way you dissolve up any of the dirt and grime on the way up, and it makes these from getting stuck on there, and it cleans them up at the same time. So then they just zip right on off. Boom. And now we need to get this one started without cross-threading it. It's a little tricky. See, it started to cross-thread. Just got to take your time and be careful with it. Nope. There it is. Boom. See how simple that was? Boo! All right, and now we're not going to rebuild this shock today. Or on this build. We're just going to clean it up, because see, it's just dirty. A little bit of wear right there. We'll clean that up as well. We'll get everything shined up. We'll get the wire wheel out, and yeah, we'll get all this cleaned up. We're gonna put our front shocks back together after we got them all cleaned up and shined up nice, about the best I can do. Yeah, we got the front one back together. It's gonna look like this. All cleaned up, ready to go back onto the machine. So we're gonna get this other one done, and what we're gonna do is put it in the vise like so we got it by the reservoir here, and this is the way it's gonna be facing. So twist this guy to get it where it needs to go. Make sure this guy is down in the groove. Hold the little bump stop up just a little bit, because we are going to have to fit this in here like so. We also need to get this guy in there. So, here's what we're gonna do. And that's gonna fit like so. And of course we have our spring, and it's gonna go this way with tighter coils up here towards the top. So the very first step we're gonna do is these guys are gonna sit like this. So you want this little ridge to be on top of this guy. And this is going to face down, obviously, because this is going to hold the spring. So, you want to feed this one on first. And you want to go all the way up over the top so that it can have the play right here, right? And then next we're going to feed this guy on, and of course it's going to sit like this. It's a little tricky to get these started sometimes. There we go. We're going to zing this one all the way up to the top as far as it will go. Which will be right about there, because it can't go any tighter than that. So, yeah. Okay, next, we're going to take our spring, make sure that the tighter coils are at the top. We're going to take our plastic sleeve, throw it in there, and we're going to feed it up through till it sits in there. And then we're going to take this guy, which has this little slot here, and we're going to face the slot this way. You can face the slot anywhere you feel like it, I suppose, but I like the slot back here. And you're going to feed that up through there. It's going to sit down, and there you go. That's all there is to that. Now we're just going to tighten these back down. And basically what we're going to do is I've counted the threads right here when I did the last one, and I took photos of them before I took it off so that you know how to put it back, how many threads were on here. So I'm going to count down about 10 threads with this guy, and then when we're done, when we spin this lock nut over the top, we'll have about 6 threads showing. And I also like to have the bottom of this spring. So basically when we're done, this little piece right here will be sitting right back here at the back. So that's the way we're going to manage that, and we're just going to spin this guy by hand until we can't spin it no longer. Then we're just going to keep zipping it around. Then we got our spanner wrench right here, which we're going to use to just fly this dog down. And then once you feel it's starting to get kind of tighter, I've been doing this so many times you can sort of tell the tension that it gets. You want to start counting threads and making sure that right here it's here. So I'm going to just take it and I'm going to go around until that is in the back where I want it, right there. So now this little, the end of the spring is right here. That's where I want it, in the back. So now we can count threads here. And we got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's about where we want it. So let's spin this guy down. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it should match the other side, which we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a 7, depending on where you look at it because of the cut on here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to back this off, and we're going to throw some blue Loctite on there. And once we start tightening this down, it'll suck up under that blue Loctite. Boom. And now I probably need 2 spanner wrenches, which I don't have. So we're going to try to figure out how. Actually, that bottom one didn't even move for some reason. So I figured they would both start spinning, but it didn't. All right, so we got that tight on there with the Loctite, so we should be good to go there. And there you go. One shock, cleaned up and ready to be put back onto the machine. All right, now that you saw the shocks being cleaned up and we got everything ready to rock and roll, let's put them in. So basically we're gonna feed this through first, right in there. And the bolts here, we're gonna take a little bit of the Maxima waterproof grease, put a little coat on here, just a tiny bit again. You don't want a lot. We don't want to ruin the torque specs. And then this bolt is just going to go right on through here. Boom. And now the top bolt, we're going to have to lift up on the frame here and finagle this in. But we're going to do the same thing. Just a tiny little bit on here. And then we're going to pick up on here. Ooh. I'm going to get that in there. There it is. All right, now we're going to use a little bit of the thread locker blue. So let's get that on there. And then the bottom one here gets a washer. And the nut. The nut is a 17 and the bolt head is a 14. So we're gonna get these torqued down, and it's torqued to 32 foot-pounds. 32. And now we can do the same to the top one. Thread locker blue. And the nut. $32. That's all there is to that. Shocks installed. Woo! All right, let's get some more stuff done. All right, peoples. Now that we have the shocks installed, let's get us some brakes. And after that, we'll be almost buttoned up here in the front. Besides ourselves some steering and controls and all that good stuff and handlebars. But I'm not sure if we're going to get to that or not. Stay tuned, and maybe we'll get to the handlebars in this video also. And controls, and then we'll have the front end buttoned up. But yeah, let's get the brakes in there. So what we're going to do first, we are going to install this brake hose. And it's going to go, it kind of looks odd, but it's going to end up like this. So what we're going to do, and it goes right here onto this guy. So we're going to feed it this side all the way through here and undo this, and it's going to go right in there. And of course we're going to use some blue Loctite on this guy, so let's get that Loctited up. Alright, and then it's just going to go right in here. Boom, and that gets torqued to 7.2 foot-pounds, which is going to be about 86 inch-pounds. So we're going to do that. It's a 10 millimeter. 86. Let's make sure it felt like it kind of moved. Yep, 86 inch-pounds, which is 7.2 foot-pounds. Woo! All right, and next we have a brake line. It is going to go this direction. So it's going to feed into here and go right up into here. So let's feed the bottom in first. And we are going to Loctite these as well. Just a little bit. That one and this one. Alright, and then we'll feed that guy right on in there. Want to be careful with this Loctite so that you don't get it inside of there. Alright, now we can get our top brake hose in there, and yeah, it's going to go right on through here like so and button up with this guy. Alright, so basically it's just going to go right on in here, and it's going to sit like so, and then this little clip is going to feed in here and hold it. So let's get this started. We got the blue Loctite on here already. When you feed this clip through, you want to make sure this guy is facing down. And then what we'll do is we'll take a punch and we'll line it up and we'll give it a whack. And make sure it's straight. There we go. That's all there is to that. And now we can tighten these down. So we'll tighten this one up first as long as we're up here. You don't have to go super tight with these. I should do it right there. And now we'll tighten up this bottom one down here. And that should be all there is to that. Boom! We're brake lined up. All right, now it's time to get the brake caliper hooked up, and we're gonna have to take this tire and wheel off of here in order to get that accomplished. Looks like I probably should have cleaned the inside of these tires if I was going to be showing this on camera, but check this out. We got brand new rubbers. So yeah, we got brand new Sun F tires sitting out in the garage ready to rock and roll on this dog. So we're just using these for the roller. So yeah, they're clean enough. Anyway, let's get this wheel off of here and get this brake caliper on. Whoo, we're getting there. Feel like I'm in NASCAR. Let's go. Boom. I think I'd be, yeah, we'd be losing the race by now, wouldn't we? Now let's see how this is gonna drop or fall or what's gonna happen here. All right, what's gonna happen? Whoa, 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 whoa. Not cool. Don't do it. I think we're gonna have to get something to set that on. All right, now we can get our brake caliper hooked up. And yeah, check it out. These are brand new. Well, they're not brand new. They're rebuilt. Got brand new brake pads in there. Brand new pins, brand new seals, brand new everything. Brand new piston seals. We popped the pistons out. Yeah, so before we get this on here, let's rebuild these guys. So you can see what it's like to rebuild the brakes. And yeah, let's get these rebuilt. The first step we're going to do is separate some of this stuff. Like the brake lines. All we're going to have to do with this is clean it. And assemble it so you can get out of here. You two. We're just going to clean that. Our calipers. What we're going to do is we're going to pop the pistons. But we're going to use the old compressor. Here, we're going to use some compressed air. And we're going to pop those out of there, but first we're gonna have to get the brake pads out of here. All right, now we're doing the front ones. Came across this. That's gonna be a little bit difficult to get the old Allen in there, so you can take yourself a wire brush and just dig out your Allen holes right there. All right, now we get a rag back, of course. And we get her done. I said. Well, there you go, folks. That's what I'm talking about. You gotta keep them covered up. Otherwise, they're gonna shoot across your garage like mine just did. So that's not ideal. All right, retrieved that, and now we put it back in just to get it started. And this one we should be able to use our, there we go, our small one. And now let's make sure that we don't do that again. Well, see, that one wanted to go across the room, but the rag stopped it.
And there you go. Dual pistons out. And now, of course, we need to do that one more time. And there we go. All right, folks, check it out. The front ones are a little nasty. So look at that. We're gonna try to salvage that somehow. Now we got one more left to do, and we'll get all these cleaned up. All right, check it out. These are our brakes right here. I got the front ones ready to go here. This one's already done. Brand new brake pads in there, and I got a piece of cardboard stuck in there so that it keeps them open until we're ready to put them on the machine. So let's get this one. We can show you how I got to this point. So let's get her done. Woo! Okay. So we got the Boss bearing rebuild kit. So let's dig into this thing and see what's in here, shall we? Yes, we shall. All right then. If you can open the package, that would be a wonderful thing. All right. Now, there better be, yes, sirs, woo! The most beautiful thing you could ever get in a package, the stickers. All right, so we got a dust boot here. We got another dust boot on the other side. We have another dust boot, the one that goes on the bleeder screw. And we have piston seals, front thick ones, piston seals rear, no, the rear are the thicker ones, and then the front are the smaller ones here. And we got a couple crush washers. We can set those aside, we're not putting the brakes on yet. And we got a couple of brake pad pins. Already blue Loctited, that's kind of handy. All right. Now the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to put this little, this is the brake pad spring, basically. It kind of sits down inside of here, and it keeps the brake pads springy with tension. So it goes with these little two clips right here towards the back. So they fit right onto this little notch right here. And then you just put it in there and press it down. Boom. All right, now I already have some brake fluid in a little lid here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put the back ones in first, the thicker ones. And the way I do this is I get this all coated with brake fluid, and then what I do is I put it in and I hold it into the slot. Push it into the slot. See, so it started into the slot down there. And then I just hold it with one hand, and then I just push this in. Boom. That's all there is to that. So once again, brake fluid, and then we put it into the slot down here, like so. Get it started into the slot. And then you just shove the front in. There you go. And then, now that we got that in there, I like to coat the whole inside of that. The front ones, we do the same way. Get some brake fluid on there. Kind of get it into the groove in the bottom, and then just slam the front in. There you go. And the same with this one. We'll get it in the groove.
And then push this down in there, and there we go. There we go. Now, look at that. And now we're all lubed up in there too because I rolled it around a bit, and we should be good to go. And now, we're gonna throw our pistons in there. And I've already cleaned these up. All nice and shiny now. Yeah, so what I'll do is put a little bit of the brake fluid around the outside of here. This end is going to face out, and this is going to go towards the back of the body there. So these are kind of tricky sometimes, but a lot I like to do is just throw my thumb in there so you can get it started even. Boom. And then pull it around this way so that you can grab like so, or like so. There you go. And make sure that goes all the way back and it rolls nice too. Make sure you don't roll these over. So don't force it. All right, let's get the other one in there. Boom. Get a little brake fluid. Sometimes I use my pointer finger to just get it started. And you want to make sure they're straight. See, this one went in crooked. If you have to. Whoa, I've never done that before. Okay, sometimes you have to start all over again. Make sure that your seals didn't roll over. They're all good. All right, so we put that in like so. You try to get it as straight as possible. And then sometimes I turn it around this way. Boom. And slam it in that way. There we go. Now we don't want brake fluid on anything else, so make sure that we wash our hands and get the brake fluid off. Or do what I do and just wipe it on your pants. Because now we're going to be using grease. So the very next step we're going to do is we are going to put this guy through the top here. This one goes in the top. And the way it works, this one's a pain in the ass. I don't like this one. Is I get this greased up right here along the inside. Put a light grease on here and a little bit in here. Make sure you have a good coat in there though. Now, what you need to do here, this is where it gets tricky. This guy right here is going to come through the back. You don't want to stuff this one in through the front because this is really, really hard compressed. And this right here has an opening. See, it's a little looser. So you want to put this end through the back side here. And the way this is going to work is you want to get it scrunched up as much as possible. And it's really hard to do once you get the grease on it. So what I like to do is sometimes just grab this thing and just stuff it in there. Just like that. I got it stuffed in there. Make sure it doesn't come back out. Stuff it in there the rest of the way. Make sure you don't tear it. And boom, see, it just goes right on in there. And then I like to turn it a little so that way it gets the grease kind of coated up on the side of there, and now it won't seize up in there. And the other one, which rolled back underneath here, this one has a little lip right here. This end with the hole right here is going to stick out. This end with the lip is going to grab this little lip right here. So what I do is put the grease right here on this little lip. Make sure it's greased up nice right there. Don't worry about getting any inside of here too, because we're going to grease up the pins on the way through anyway. They're going to be greased up in there. So nothing wrong there. So yeah, now this guy, you just want to, what I do is I start the bottom and then shove the top in. And then sometimes you can twist it. There you go. Just give it a little twist. Make sure it's seated in there and doesn't want to come back out. We're all good. Looking good. All right, now we're going to put the bracket on. And this is what I was talking about before. We're going to grease these pins up right here. They're going to sit inside of there. You want a lot of grease on these. So I just coat these things really good. And this one right here. And a little bit, you don't want a lot on here, but I put a little bit on here as well. This is where the brake pads rest. And I put grease here as well so that the brake pads don't seize to it. But yeah. All right, and then these guys, the holes go into the holes. So there you can see, right, these two just go one into this guy right here and one into this guy right here. There it goes. There, you want to get that so it shoves in there and clicks. You can feel it kind of lock in, and it goes into the grommet down here, into the rubber dealio, and now it's in there. And these things were trashed. Look at that. You can still see, man, these things had like sand on there. I swear to God, they were just, this is concrete now. I could not get that off without taking off the finish. So we're just gonna leave that. It's gonna be a little bit of character. All right, so now we can put our brake pads in there. Keep the pistons back all the way. And we have our brake pads. With this particular model right here, the 2006 YFZ450, you got one with a hook. That's what sits on here. And then you got the back one that does not have a hook. And you want to kind of watch yourself with this since we've been using the grease too. You don't want to get the grease on the pads and all that good stuff. So let's make sure my hands are clean. And all right, so now what's going to happen is they're going to go kind of like so. You want this one in the back and you want the pad facing this way because this is going to be the back one. So it just kind of flies in there like so. And this one is obviously going to go this direction. And it's going to, the hook right here is going to hook onto here. So we're going to hook it and slide it down in like so. All right, and what I like to do is just use something cardboard. Like I'm going to take the package and just fold it up a few times. And then what we're going to do is we're going to feed that right through here so that we keep that open like so. And now we're going to put the pins in. So you want to get it so that it you can push this down. Actually, you know what? Let's take the cardboard out first. There we go. And then you want to push that bottom one down. There you go. And then we'll take this other pin and we'll drop it through here. And you might have to push these down a little bit. That's what that spring does in there. And then, yep, we're through the back one back there. Make sure these are spread and put our cardboard in there. Boom. We want to stick them like so. And then what I always do is I make sure that they've caught threads. I don't tighten these all the way down, but I make sure, there we go, that we caught threads. That means we're good to go. Yep, we caught threads. We're gonna wait till we get these on the quad to tighten them down. They're gonna get torqued. I'm not sure the torque spec off the top of my head. We'll get that done when we get the brakes on there though. All right. And then it looks like this is the old one. The old boot. Check this out. That has a wide opening that fits over this wide bleeder screw. I didn't think these were going to work. Look at how skinny that is. But
This is really, really stretchy material. I kind of like it, actually. And these they fit on here real good. They got a nice snap to them. So anyway, you want to make sure that you put this on upside down, because when you put it back up here, obviously this needs to fold over. All right, so you want to get this thing started on the bottom like so. So we get it up to the threads. Make sure you got it right so that when you close it, yep, it's going to close like that. Turn it over, and then I pull it down like this and rest it on here, and then you can just pull this out and drive it down, and there you go. And then we can flip this back over and boom, plunk that there, and now we can plunk this where it belongs. And I'm not going to tighten these down either, because we're going to have to bleed the brakes, obviously, and we need a brake line. But here we go. All right, now that we got our fresh, brand new, rebuilt brake caliper, let's get that dog installed. Pop out our fine, handy dandy spreader we got going on there. And now it drops on this way. And now, blue Loctite on the bolts. And the other one. And now we're just going to feed it in here and catch the bracket. All right, then we get the bottom one. All right, then we'll just snug these guys down. And they get torqued to 20 foot-pounds. 20. 20. All right, now we got our caliper installed. We can get our brake line hooked up with our banjo bolt, and you want to make sure you drop this in the hole right here before we put that in there, obviously, because you won't get a second chance to do that after we hook it up. All right, so this brake line is going to just sit just like this. And then we have our brand new crush washers, and you have one in the back. Feed it through, and then we have another crush washer on this side, and it just goes right in here like so. All right, then this baby, we'll just snug it down a little bit, and it's going to get torqued to 22 foot-pounds. So let's get her torqued up. No making fun of my yellow socks either. Woo! It's going to take a little while to torque this because we're crushing the crush washers. That's why they're called crush washers, because they crush. There we go. 22 foot-pounds. Woo! We're all installed here. Let's get the rest of this dog assembled. We have one more little thing to put on, and we'll be buttoned up here. All right, now we have one more thing that we need to put on here, and that's to secure this brake line down. We got this little dealio here, this little I don't know what the hell you call this thing. The plastic brake line dealio securer. All right, so let's get that securer hooked up. So what it is it's got two that face. This one's going to go on the inside. This one's going to go on the outside. So, yeah. And then this is going to get this bolt right here, and just line it up right here where it goes. And then this little slot right here is going to be. See these little holes? That's where these little guys go. And you just want to get that hooked up in there first, I guess. Boom, we're in there. And then we need to go around this way, through here. And then this is going to go under, and then this is going to go under here.
And then we're going to secure that bolt down there. And that's that. And we're going to use some blue Loctite on this guy, of course. And I didn't even bother to look up the torque spec on this because I don't care. These little guys, I'm gonna zip them on down. Some blue Loctite, that'll be plenty in there, and they're not gonna come off again. Plus, this is plastic. You don't want to tighten it too hard anyway. You'll break the plastic. So that should take care of that. Woo! That's looking beautiful. Yeah. Now we can get the wheel back on and do the other side. Yeah, I'll just take care of that part myself, and we'll just move on to securing some more stuff down. This is exciting. Let's go. I think we're going to move on to the handlebars. Yeah. Let's just keep on rolling through this front end. Get the handlebars up on there. And some controls. And whoo! All right, here we go. It's exciting. More color. All right, folks. Now it's time to get some handlebars on this dog. Woo! But first we need to install the risers. So we're not just going to put the handlebars on here and then throw the clamps on like the stock ones. We're going to have to put a set of risers on first. And these are also to convert it to, we're going to convert it to like the fat bar size. I can't remember what size that is. So let's get that baby on there, and we're going to pop these out. Blue Loctite these. And what we're going to do here is, this right here is holding this guy in. And what we're going to do is we're going to secure these down first. We're not going to tighten them. But then we're going to take this out, blue Loctite it, put it back in, secure it up, and then we're going to tighten these down. So let's get to it. And we got the blue Loctite. And the other bolt. And then we'll just drop these guys right on in here. Well, that was pretty rude. Thank you. All right, and then they're going to be installed with the bolts out so that they match the same width here of the steering stem top. And then we'll just zip these babies down. We'll do this the easy way. This is much easier. We don't want to tighten them yet because, like I said, we're going to zip this guy out of there. And the reason why I'm doing that is we're going to put some blue Loctite on this, if I can get it out. All right, and then we'll blue Loctite this guy. And just throw it back on in there. All right, and these aftermarket bars didn't tell me any torque specs or anything like that, so we're just gonna make sure everything's tight. All right, and we got the Loctite on there, so let's just tighten this stuff down. I think we are gonna torque these though. I think we're gonna go like 15 foot-pounds. Let's start out with 12 and see how I feel about that. All right, so 12 foot-pounds is 144 inch-pounds. So let's get that done. $144. $144. Now let's get the other side done. Same process, but we're just gonna leave them in there and hit them like this. And just drop that sucker right down on there. And then of course we'll get this guy out of there again. And throw some Loctite on there. And just drop it back in the hole. All right, and then 144 inch-pounds. We'll just get them both started real fast and get them even. 144. 144. Woo! Which is 12 foot-pounds. All right, let's get the handlebars on here. All right, folks, now we can get our bars up on there, and yeah, we got us some Metal Militia Pro Tapers, MX, Metal Militia MX, and that's why we got these risers, is so we can hook up this fat bar on there. It's gonna look beautiful. Woo! Oh, look at that. Metal Militia. These bars are awesome. All right, so what we're gonna do, we are not gonna Loctite these bolts or torque them or anything right now, but if you are ready to go, these bar clamp bolts get torqued down to 17 foot-pounds. But we don't know where we're gonna end up yet, and we don't even have the rear end on here yet, but we're just hooking up the handlebars so we can get the controls on there, and yeah. So let's just get them snug down. And I can't see because I'm twisted sideways, so we're gonna have to obviously move that a bit, huh? Oh, a lot. Let me get my glasses hooked up here. There we go. So we're gonna probably put it right about, we're just gonna put this Metal Militia MX up. But once again, this is just a guess at this point. We don't know where it's gonna end up. I'd say right about there looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. Oh, it looks sick. We got some bars. Let's get us at least let's get us the brake lever on there so that we can hook up the rest of this brakes. All right, so I just went ahead and put all this stuff on here. Basically all this is just a couple of clamps and, you know, just slide everything on, bolt it down. We're gonna have to adjust all this again in the future anyhow, but let's get the brake hooked up here. So we got our new crush washers, and we're gonna put one crush washer in the back. It's gonna go through here, and then of course we're gonna put another crush washer on the other side, and we're just gonna slide that guy in here. Boom. Then we're gonna torque this down to 22 foot-pounds. 22 foot-pounds. All right, we got some controls. All right, folks, check it out. Got the controls on the other side. We got the clutch and the kill light switch hooked up right there. Yeah, once again, I didn't record any of this because it's a pretty simple process. And we're gonna have to adjust all of this again in the future anyway because we don't even have any of the cables. We have no motor yet, but we're getting there. So yeah, look at that. Woo. She's looking beautiful. It's looking like something. The front end now. We got a front end. This is very exciting. Yeah, so you know what time it is. Next episode. What? Yeah, you can see I've already started. I already have the swing arm installed down there in the rear shock. So, yeah, footage is already being cut for the next episode. So you want to make sure that you subscribe. And make sure that you click that all bell notification. Otherwise, you'll just be subscribed, but you will never get notified until you click that top bell. Click that and make sure that you get notified whenever 11 Gallery ATV puts out the new videos. Yeah, we're going to continue on with this YFZ450 build. This is getting very exciting. You know what time it is. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Woo!